Standard 71 is using the quadratic formula to solve a quadratic. The quadratic equation is important to write down. ax squared plus by plus c equals 0. And the quadratic formula is super important to write down. It says x equals negative b plus or minus, which is a plus on top and a minus on bottom, the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Make sure you write it down exactly how I wrote it down. Now we're going to try one. First we need to write down the steps. Here are the steps. Step 1, rewrite the equation into standard form. Step 2, identify a, b, and c from that equation. Step 3, plug in a, b, and c into the quadratic formula, and then we're going to use the order of operations to solve for x. We're going to try 2 examples. You're going to try 2 examples for homework, and we're going to sing today. Oh yes. All right. Example 1. X squared minus 12x equals negative 20. The problem is it's not in standard form. How to put it in standard form is we need to have 0 on the right. So we need to add 20 to both sides of the equation. So we'll get x squared minus 12x plus 20 equals 0. The next step is identifying a, b, and c. So what we do is we look for the number in front. All the numbers are basically your a, b, and c, as long as they're in the right order. So a is the number in front of x squared, which is 1. B is the number in front of x, which is negative 12. And c is the number by itself, which is 20. So that's the first step. The next step is plugging those numbers into the quadratic formula. All right, you know what? Let's grab a new page because I think we are going to run out of room. So, let me find something that's not music. How about notebook paper? Perfect. Okay, so we had that a equals 1, b equals negative 12, and c equals 20. And then we need our formula. So we have x equals, and you do need to write this down, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right. Next we're going to plug in the numbers. So where I saw negative, I put negative, and then it said b. So my b is negative 12. So I'm going to write negative 12. Plus or minus square root. Then it asks for b, which again is negative 12 squared. I'm using my parentheses because I know that all of b is squared, not just the 12. Okay? So minus 4, a is 1, and c is 20. All over, so I'm going to draw my division bar, 2 times a is 1. So I just took all of the letters and replaced the letters with the numbers. And I need to put that on top too. All right, now we're going to use order of operations to simplify this thing. So I have minus negative 12, which is positive 12. I'm going to bring down my plus or minus symbol. Going to bring down my square root. Negative 12 squared is 144. Okay, that's one term. Here's another term. So we're going to do all that together. So negative 4 times 1 times 20 is negative 80. And then at the bottom there we had 2 times 1, which is 2. So far, so great. All right. Next, we are going to keep working down to those square root. 144 minus 80 is 64. So we have 12 plus or minus the square root of 64 over 2. The square root of 64 is 8 because 8 times 8 equals 64. You can use your scientific calculator or just your brain. So 12 plus or minus 8 divided by 2. Now, here's the deal. You've probably never seen a plus or minus before. All this means is that we're going to do one problem with a plus and one problem with a minus. So, we're going to have x equals 12 plus 8 divided by 2 and 12 minus 8 divided by 2. 12 plus 8 is 20, divided by 2 is 10. So we're going to have x equals 10. And then 12 minus 8 divided by 2 is going to give us 2. So 10 and 2. So that's our answers. So we just got done graphing our parabola. So what this answers means is that the parabola is going to cross the x-axis at 10 and 2. And we could have found this also using the factoring method. But sometimes factoring doesn't work because the answers don't work out to whole numbers. So we're going to do an example like that. Here comes example 2. 3x squared plus 5x minus 12 equals 0. It's already in standard form. So let's identify A, B, and C. A, B, C. I'm just going to write A, B, and C underneath. So A is 3, B is 5, and C is negative 12. And then we're going to plug them into our formula. X equals negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. I write that down every single time I do this. So then we're going to have x equals negative, the b this time is 5, plus or minus the square root, and that's going to be 5 squared minus 4, and then we need to plug in a and c. And a is 3, and c is, it's not coming out very good, is it? Let's see. Let's go to 3, and c is negative 12. So far we plugged everything in. We forgot the over 2 times 3, because 3 is a. Okay, we plugged everything in. Now we're going to use order of operations to simplify. So we're going to have x equals negative 5 plus or minus. Now we're going to look here. 5 squared is 25 minus, and then we're going to do negative 4 times 3 times negative 12, and that's going to give us 144 over 2 times 3, which is 6. There's one more operation underneath the square root, so 25. Oh, look what I did. Did you catch my mistake? Look what we did. Negative 4 times negative 12, that's positive 144. Whew, that was close. All right, 25 plus 144 is going to give us 169. So we have negative 5 plus or minus square root of 169 over 6. Now, what is that square root of 169? That's 13. So x equals negative 5 plus or minus 13 divided by 6. At this point, there's nothing else we can do except for address this plus or minus. So we have to write two equations now. So we write x equals negative 5 plus 13 over 6 and negative 5 minus 13 over 6. Now let's do some math. Negative 5 plus 13 is 8. So that's 8 over 6. And negative 5 minus 13 is negative 18 over 6. We just need to do some reducing. So 8 over 6 reduces to 4 over 3. So x is 4 over 3. And negative 18 over 6 reduces to negative 3. So those are our two answers. That's the spot where it's going to cross the x-axis. And we had to do it this way instead of factoring because that 4/3 was not going to come out even for us factoring. So the quadratic formula is going to always work no matter what problem you use. Just sometimes it's easier to factor, and other times it's easier to work this all out using the quadratic formula to get the right answer. All right. Now, before you try to, we're going to sing. All right. So in class tomorrow, we're going to sing the quadratic formula to the tune of Pop Goes the Weasel. And I'm going to go ahead and sing it so you can practice. All right, here it goes. Ready? X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You are going to be expected to memorize this, and that song is going to really help you on your way. You have to do 2 problems tonight. Here they are. You try these 2 problems, bring them to class tomorrow, attempted, and you will earn homework credit. See you later. Bye.